G'day, Mark the Bearded Tech Skehan, coming to you from the Quantum Sphere stand, Integrate 2023, Day 2. Standing here with this legend of the industry, Ben Donald, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. You are kidding. You are joking.
Mate, last time I saw you, we caught up for a couple of beers and a bit of a chat about.
We did.
At the time, was just a transition from TriplePlay to Uniguest.
Yes, that's right.
Where's all that up to now? It's like it's all happening. It's all Uniguest.
All happening now. We are fully Uniguest. So Uniguest is our global brand that encompasses our products that people would know: TriplePlay, OneLand, Reserva, Otrim, eStream, which we spoke about before. So it's all under the Uniguest banner now. So
right. And so how are you identifying the product still under TriplePlay?
As the brands, okay,
right. Yeah, right. And this here is your product running on a Sony system on chip panel.
Sony system on a chip. This is the new Sony Bravia.
What's the significance here? This is a pretty significant relationship going on here.
Absolutely, yeah. So we had some meetings with Sony in Japan. They want to take TriplePlay into the stadiums in Japan and using a local TV brand. So we've now got IPTV running locally on their system on a chip. Gives us a professional display screen that we're seeing a lot in hotels and residential and in aged care as well.
Yes.
And at the moment it's IPTV, and by the end of the year we'll be doing full digital signage on the Sony Bravia.
Wow, that's fairly that's a fairly big play.
This is the first time we've had it shown in the world.
In the world?
Yep.
Seen it here first.
There you go.
Wow, well, close enough to first for us. All right. So look, I know from the integrator, and we've been talking about this, the integrator world, that there's I've got an RF background, right? So I'm coming from this position where I'm going, RF is great, right? It works.
Yep.
It's a terrible thing to control, and the problem with RF is it actually works, and anyone can normally just cut the coax, put a splitter in, and typically you can get away with it, right? And then we're going to deploy a pub, a club, a hotel, and RF, there's all sorts of problems because you want to control it, you want to bring in a BMS or any sort of management system. So it's like, what are our options, right? You go, I've got AV over IP. If I want to distribute Foxtel, free to air,
Sky Racing, Kino,
I've got to have a box for everything.
Yep.
So really, the obvious thing becomes IPTV, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and the whole concept of this is it runs on a content management server?
Yep, single server, single head end.
Yep.
We can bring in the Foxtel, we can bring in all the Sky Racing, the Kino, any other third-party devices, HDMI, we can do live broadcast SDI, we can do low latency as well for full live broadcast.
Yes.
And put that out over multicast to any IP endpoint.
Yeah, and the cool thing is you control it in a myriad of ways.
Anyway, we can do any kind of IP control, we can do remote control, we can do serial control, we can do it from our head end, we can do it from third party, and we can do event triggers as well. So we can actually make screens change automatically based on an event that gets triggered, whether it's a fire alarm, whether it's a manual button press, whether it's a sensor, we can change content.
In anything that could be time, so it could be a big club that wants to play the ode at 6 o'clock at night, bang, everything just...
Send an alarm and away you go.
Yeah, right. It's a really, and what I've loved about this, just looking at this, like this is super smooth.
It's really sharp.
Super slick, real, and we're just running the Sony remote, right?
There's no additional hardware.
And it just responds really, really well. Load up movies, load up TV. What's going on with this part though?
So this is just in terms of the logos? These are just something we've canned and put together just for the demo, but this can be channel mapped to any channel configuration that's put through the server, and you can bank the channels in whatever order you want. You can have all your channel 7s together or your channel 9s. You can add in specific channels for the hotel, whether it's a lifestyle channel, yoga instruction channel can be made and put in as well.
So is this an EPG or
No, this is just a channel selection, and then we have an EPG as well.
And that's a full live
EPG
for free-to-air TV.
And Foxtel.
And Foxtel.
Yep, we bring
as long as you've got the Foxtel cam.
Yes, as long as the Foxtel
into the server.
Yep, and then we can bring the EPG in as well.
Right, and if you've got the scenario where you've got Sky or actually let's say you've got a venue where someone wants to plug in HDMI.
Yep.
Run a laptop through for an event.
You can make it a channel.
Yeah, right. So it just becomes an IPTV stream. H.265.
H.265, yep.
So it's nice and light.
Yep.
It's quick.
Yep. Multicast. On most networks.
Small delays.
Yep.
So the biggest problem we've had with IPTV is a delay if it's running H.264.
Yep.
Especially with things like bingo.
Yes.
They're going, legs 11.
Yep.
And it's like they've called it out before the before it even comes up on the screen. So that's a real concern. The H.265 obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's still a little delay, and that comes down to networking and the back-end environment.
Good practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we have our low latency encoder as well, which is sub 100 milliseconds from glass to glass. So we use that in sports stadiums. That was used recently in the Perth soccer stadium for when the Matildas played over there in the World Cup. And we can actually produce that low latency signal to any compatible endpoint. So it doesn't have to be a specific, expensive low latency endpoint. We can do it to a normal SP1 player. So a $500 or $600 media player can receive low latency encoding.
Right. You've also done a really good job of partnerships with companies like Brightsign and different things like that.
So we're one of Brightsign's largest OEM partners.
Yes.
So our little SP1 player looks very similar. If it was purple, you'd probably recognise it. We've got a new 4K version coming out based on their Series 5. That'll be out by the end of the year. And we're actually now integrating with the new dual head and the 4 output 8K players as well. So we're doing a big sports stadium in the US that has about 150 of those for video walls. And that whole stadium's going to run on TriplePlay and on the Uniguest platform.
It's a big. You got to have confidence in your product, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys obviously do. So,
it's proven.
Every time I've seen this, it's just been super, super slick. So, mate, thanks for spending a few minutes with us, giving us a rundown of Uniguest. TriplePlay now Uniguest.
Keep a look out.
Guys, come down and see them if you're at Integrate 2023 at the Quantum Sphere stand. They're celebrating 25 years. Come and say good day to Ben. He can run you through it. There's another couple of tech guys if you want to dig really deep.
Really deep.
And go for your life. Come and see us. See you guys.